Greetings, community, and welcome to Entropy and Comics and another edition of, well, this week's signed books. That's right. Well, I had a kind of a rough couple of weeks as far as both work and trying to get some books signed. I did manage to go to 3 events, one of which was just spontaneous. It really wasn't announced. Kyle Higgins turned up at Golden Apple, so I just so happened to be there. He was there for a short, very brief signing moment, and in that 1 hour, I guess, that he was there, I just so happened to be there, and I was allowed just one book in which that I can purchase on site to get signed. So this was the book that was released that day, and as a signature. So this was released on 5/14/2025, and I just so happened to be walking in over at Golden Apple Comics during the time in which that not only this was the day in which it was released, but in time in which that the store just opened and Kyle just arrived and he was signing some books. And there's the signature. So, like I said, I was fortunate enough to be there and had that book signed. So that was one. Hey, Christina, appreciate you hanging out and dancing with me. Hope all is well with you. And so that was the first book I got signed. And as I stated, that was, as you see, was roughly, a week and a half ago, a little more. And as I stated, it was only a real quick improv. No one really knew about it. He was just signing a bunch of books for the shop. And if anyone was to show up with like a book, he was kind enough to go ahead and sign one. And because as I stated, he was mostly there for that 1 hour to sign books for the shop. So it was pretty cool to be able to get something that just was released in the same day, signed by Kyle Higgins. So I appreciate you, Kyle. And moving on from that, as I said, I've been working a lot, and I finally was able to make it over to one signing event that was happening over at Pasadena and another signing event that was happening at in Winnetka, which is over in the deep kind of in the valley area, over just off of, it's hard to figure out how to, give you a description, kind of in the Encino area, I guess, that most people would be able to find of the valley. And that's where I end up going to 2 separate places, one in Pasadena and one over there, all within a 3-hour window. So it did take a little bit of driving and managing of time. So this is Mark Guggenheim's last flight out. I ended up getting both of these books signed. Oh, wait, there should be another one. I think it may be in the back. Nope. Wow, those books get snuck in there. Oh, I think there it is. There it is. There's the other one. So is that. These two. He's rather consistent on a signature. Guy is an amazingly ultra sweet guy. He's just super approachable, easy to talk to. I end up walking in the midst of a conversation that he was having with the owner. I felt like I was interrupting. He was more than gracious to not only ask of me what I would like to ask of him about the story or anything that he's been working on. And I was just more fascinated about the conversation that he was having with the store owner. So I kind of asked that they just kind of continue, and I just be the fly on the wall. So I didn't really ask a whole lot of the story, other than I was just kind of wondering how he felt, not what his direction was or anything, personally how he felt about the launch of this book, this being the new ongoing series. He seemed rather excited, and he seemed like he was willing to take on a whole new adventure between these two. And it seemed like to me that he had it well understood what he believed the fans wanted. And yeah, he's looking forward to telling a good story. So I again, I didn't want to really interrupt too much of the conversation that he already pre-existently was having. So I just kind of step back as much as I could. I only had a few books that I wanted him to sign. So that is the 1 in 25, I think. Maybe it's the 1 in 25. I don't know. One's one, one's the other. I love both of the covers, so I got him. And I had just the second print of this book between Wolverine and Blade. So I had him sign that. Those were the few books that I had Mark sign for me. I was really grateful that I didn't, not only he signed these books for me, but that I got to actually just hang out and listen to him in his realm, you know, just having a regular conversation. I didn't stay long, as I made mention. I had to get to, you know, that event and a couple of other things that were mandated of me, both between work and at home. So I only stayed a few minutes, talked, and then quickly skedaddled off. So as far as Mark was concerned, I only got 7 books signed. As far as Kyle was concerned, I only had a book signed. I'm not quite certain how these guys snuck in there. But I'll put that back. These guys in there. All right. Now first, I've been speaking with Tony Fleegs for at least 4+ years. I want to say now it's been probably almost as many as 6. And the guy is amazingly also approachable, but he's really like all of us. He's very nerdy, and he's really eager to talk about, you know, the books that he's not only working on, but what he's also reading and stuff. He reads, like us, a lot of different books, and he has a lot of different interests. And of the books of yore, he does remember and have fond memories of those early 90s books. So that's why when it came to Local Man, he was paying homage to a lot of those early 90 books. And then when it comes to horror and stuff like that, he definitely grew up and watched and is pretty existingly still watching a lot of horror flicks, which he also plays and pays a lot of homage to in both of his art and in his, I guess, to some degree, some of his art technique and his approach and his delivery, which for me is, I don't know, I'm really taken back by some of the stuff that I end up seeing, or some of the things that I'm like, wow, what is that from? And I end up finding out, it's like, wow, you know, the wide range in which that he ends up watching and or appreciating enough to where to put it into his own works is kind of cool. So I love talking to both Tony because of the works that he's doing, and also the stuff that he puts into the works that he's pre-existingly doing and about to do. So I was also talking to him about a book coming up called Cultisac, and he seemed also very excited about on those works. So it's just, I enjoy the conversations that I get to have with them, both about comics and not about comics. And it's always, for me, fascinating to not only get to share with others what I end up learning about these individuals, but for me, I also have a deeper appreciation and understanding of these individuals. So for my books end up meaning, I guess, for me, that much more. And for me to show them to you, it makes them that much funner, I guess, if that's even a word. I'm just saying. All right, moving on from that. So he just recently launched this other week, which is, what is this going to be considered? What was that, the 21st, 24th? I can't remember. 21st. Anyways, thing came out. And that was a Tony Fleegs book. He's writing this thing. It's pretty cool placement, I have to admit, where you end up finding his name. And if you're a Fantastic Four fan, I highly recommend it. Tony gave his all on this thing, and yeah, I just, like I said, I highly recommend the book. Pick it up if you haven't already. And yeah. All right, moving on from that, we got issue number 8 of Feral, cover A, and 1 in 10 cover C. And I can put these things in some type of order. Look at all this backwards or something. Yeah. All right, so here we go with the 9. And I think that's a 1 in 25 for 9. This is really cool. And then 10. Here's issue 10. 10C, 1 in 10. As you can see, I'm a massive fan. There's 11. 11B. And 11C. The 1 in 10. Yeah, do that. There we go. There's Uncanny Valley, which is a 10-issue maxi series. Getting close to the end of that. That's issue 6, 7, and 8. We got 9 and 10 coming. 9, I believe, just released. 10 is about to release, and that's it. So yeah, I'm dying to finish that out just because I've been enjoying it so much. It's gonna be bittersweet, but hey, that's just how it is, isn't it? Just saying. 8, 7, 6. All right, let's see if we can do something about this. So this would be considered, I believe, issue 25 of Local Man. What I like this about these books is these are what I was talking about, how they're paying homage to the old indie books of yore and how they're releasing these flip books. And that's precisely what this is. It's really not only a cool story, not only is it paying a lot of credit to those first books released by Image, but it's telling a great present story that I truly enjoy. So I finally get all my Local Man stuff signed. There was 2. And then which one is this? This is 3. All right, so it might be in order here. That'd be amazing. So here's the flip side of that issue 25. I'll put that over there. Yeah, here's 4. 3. 5. 6. I like this cover. 7. 8. Pretty rad cover. 9. 10. 11. 12. And the final issue. For now. As I spoke to Tony, he's hoping that him and Tim Celio end up revisiting the story down the road and continue the development of this character. For me personally, I really truly enjoyed this story for not only what I believe it is presently as it was written, but what it was also trying to do as far as remembering and paying a deep, consideration and an homage to what it was pre-existingly written and whose shoulders they stood upon when writing this book. I really thought it was kind of cool. It did mean a lot to me personally when I got to see the depth and width that it was made consideration of when they were writing this book and why they were writing this book. I like it for what it is, even though it doesn't take itself too seriously. It does take itself seriously enough to where there was a definitive reason beyond the surface of what it was being written for, and I got it, and I appreciate it. So hey, that was everything I ended up getting signed. There was holy snikes. I didn't even write. Did you guys count? I didn't. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15 here. And that's 20. 28 plus the 7 is $35. Plus the one back there that I got signed by Kyle Higgins. 36 books in 2 weeks for a person that was end up working roughly around 11 days out of those. Crazy. I had a pleasure end up showing to you that end up cruising on through all the books and which that I end up getting signed. As you end up seeing, I am a self-claims signature slut, and I enjoy the time that I get to spend with these artists and creators to not only get the signatures upon my book, the little scribbles, but moreover, I end up getting conversations in which that I am really, truly grateful for. It makes to me the books seem a lot more than just the stories that I end up getting inside those books or the art. It means to me the stories that are behind those books that I end up get from these artists and creators, and moreover that I get to share with you. So I am grateful not only to them, but to those of you that cruise on through. I appreciate you. And to those of you that cruised on through on the live, Christina, I appreciate you as always. And I look forward to not only seeing you again soon, but I hope all is well with you. And to those of you that cruised on through on the rewind, thank you so much for taking the time. And if you appreciate what I do, well, go ahead, possibly throw me a like, possibly subscribe, and I would look forward to seeing you again. You stay well, and that's it for me. Entropy.